All right. So first question, with the FDA approving the Pfizer vaccine, what exactly does that approval entail?
Well, in some ways it is a formality, but what it means is that the FDA has done their due diligence to go through the stepwise process of, not only vetting the safety and the efficacy of the vaccine, but to make sure that the manufacturer is upholding quality controls and that there's, a sustainable methodology to keep those quality controls in place as we move into the next year and the next year in the years to come. And so, as we all know, many people have received the vaccine through the emergency use authorization, and we've literally, vaccinated almost 5 billion people across the world. And this, more or less is a formality to cement that in place, but at the same time, it does signify that the usual steps and processes were taken in order to make sure that it met the rigors of the FDA quality process, and that should be sustainable moving forward.
Doctor, with the actual approval now of Pfizer, is there a possibility now that this is going to speed up, or is it the same kind of process when it comes to Moderna as well as the Johnson vaccine?
Well, the FDA will look at each individual company separately because their processes are different. They're not using the same manufacturing plants, and the technology, although similar with the Moderna and the Pfizer, is different from Johnson and Johnson. So they'll look at each company individually and make their own determination. But it is expected that if everything falls into place, that we're going to see the same type of approval for each one of those vaccines.
The length of the approval, is there a specific time period, or everything is, because like you said, everybody's built differently, companies do different things. So is there a specific time frame, how Pfizer was first versus Johnson & Johnson versus Moderna, or this is kind of just how it goes?
Yeah, the manufacturers are going to submit for approval when, they believe that they have the product and the process refined to a point where it's going to meet those standards. What I'm hearing is that Moderna is probably just a couple weeks behind Pfizer. I'm not sure about Johnson and Johnson, but we can all be certain that they're going to go through the same exact approval process that the other two are.
How is this different? You did mention it, but how is this specifically different when it comes to the use of emergency authorization? Just clarification.
Okay. With the emergency use authorization, what the FDA is basically saying that there is sufficient data available to make us believe that the benefits far outweigh the risk. So they allow the drug to be used, and certainly these vaccines aren't the first vaccines to fall into this category. There have been many other drugs that have been released over the years that have been granted emergency use authorization, and there are others that we're using out there today that still fall under that category. And so it's not unusual for the FDA to do that when they think that the benefit outweighs the risk. And this is just something that really makes it more of a permanent vaccine that we can look at and say it's withstood the rigor and it's been tested across time and populations of people. So for us to assure that it is safe and effective.
Now, this question is kind of basing your faith in who you've worked with in humanity, I guess, as a whole. Do you think that now with the FDA approving the Pfizer vaccine, and some folks were saying, I'm just going to wait until the FDA actually approves something, do you think there actually might be an increase now with more people maybe feeling more comfortable to get vaccinated?
Well, I hope. We need more people to get the vaccine. We're still seeing cases of COVID, and we're actually on an increase or a bit of a surge of COVID in our hospitals. And for the most part, the patients who are experiencing severe disease, complications, hospitalizations, and death are the people who are unvaccinated. So you probably heard the phrase that this has become a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and that's absolutely true of what we're experiencing locally. So we definitely need more people to get the vaccine. I know that we're just over 50% right now, which isn't nearly enough. And if there are those people that have been hesitant and waiting for that formal approval, there's plenty of places to go get the vaccine today. Just go online, go to get the shot. If you go to vaccine.com, you can find local areas. So there's plenty of vaccine available for anybody who wants one.
I feel like this is an obvious question, but is there a time when it's too late? For example, if I am already ill in the ICU, can I get the shot then? Will it work the same?
Yeah, that's there are very few contraindications to receiving the vaccine, but if you are sick with COVID, then we don't want to give you the vaccine at that point. Not only is it not going to be efficacious, you don't want to challenge your immune system with something else while you're already sick and fighting and suffering. So, yeah, it's definitely not the right time to wait until you get sick. It's preventative in nature, and you want to get the vaccine before you get sick.
What about kids under 12? Could the approval possibly speed up the process for the younger patients?
Well, we know that that's in the pipeline, so it'll go through the same process as before. We'll first see an emergency use authorization, and then the formal data will be submitted after that, and we will see an application for formal approval for that age group, and so hopefully that will be, coming right behind this approval.
And last question, if you don't mind. With this now full approval, could we actually start to see more vaccine mandates, you think?
We're certainly hearing that from our leaders, and it is up to individual employers and organizations and states to do that. That is definitely possible that we're going to see that. We know that anything that becomes a mandate is a balance between freedoms and risks. And so, we understand that there are people that are hesitant and that people, want their individual freedoms protected. But I certainly think that there will be organizations, we've already seen a few, but more corporations and different groups that will enforce mandates in order to keep all their employees safe and healthy.